October 7th, 1942. Greta said something about the surprise invasion, recounting the story of how her father had seen the soldiers on the morning of April 9th, 1940. Rika stood up to join the conversation, and my daughter slid off my back and nestled up to her. Only my son and I continued looking down at the brass plate on the pavement. His fingers stroked over the last line. Then he looked up. "Why was he killed, Dad?" he asked. "Because he was Jewish," I replied. "Yes, but why?" From the corner of my eye I noticed Rika looking at me, following both conversations simultaneously. "Well, the Nazis wanted to kill anyone who was different." My son became quiet. "Are we Jewish too?" he asked. His brown eyes were clear and concentrated. I blinked a few times, trying to recall what he knew about the family's history. What did my children know about being Jewish, and about our ancestry? We must have talked about how their great-great-grandparents on their mother's side had emigrated from various parts of Russia more than 100 years ago. I knew we had talked about the war, about their great-grandfather Gerson, whom they had both gotten to know before he died, and his escape to Sweden. Rika drew breath to say something, but then fell back into the conversation with Greta, and my eyes locked with my son's. "You're Norwegian," I replied. But I felt there was an element of deceit in my answer, and noticed Rika looking at me again. "And a part of you is Jewish, but we're not religious," I said as I stood up, hoping that Rika or Greta would say something too, that they would have a better answer than me, but their conversation had already leapt ahead, following the logic of association, and was now somewhere else entirely. We went on our way, but my son's question stuck with me. "Why was he killed, Dad?" Shortly after, I started browsing through various archives, and before long, some of the pieces became more visible. Soon I could picture the snow in the center of Trondheim, and the steam from people's breath as they passed the small, crooked wooden houses. And soon I was able to see how the end of your life began, on a day like any other. It is Monday, January 12th, 1942. You are standing behind the counter of the fashion boutique that you and your wife own in Trondheim, surrounded by hats on stands and mannequins wearing coats and dresses. You have just welcomed your first customer of the day and told her about this week's special offers, when you have to put down your cigarette and the order form to pick up the phone. "Paris, Vienna, can I help you?" you say automatically, as you have done thousands of times before. "Guten Morgen," says a man on the other end of the line, who continues in German. "Am I talking to Kommissar?" "Yes, that's correct," you reply, also in German, thinking momentarily that it might be one of your suppliers from Hamburg calling, perhaps because of a problem at customs again. Maybe it is the summer dresses you ordered, but in that case it must be a new employee, because this voice does not sound familiar. "Hirsch Komissar? Married to Marie Komissar?" "Yes. Who am I speaking to?" "I am calling from the Gestapo's security service." "Okay." You glance up from the order form, aware that your customer can sense there is something going on. You place your cigarette on the edge of the ashtray again and turn your face toward the wall while your heart pounds in your chest. "The Gestapo? There is a matter we would like to discuss with you," says the man in a low voice. "Very well," you reply apprehensively, and are just about to open your mouth to ask what that is when you are interrupted. "Please come in for questioning at the Mission Hotel, today at 2 p.m., says the voice at the end of the line. Mission Hotel? For questioning? Why on earth are you being called in for questioning, you think, with your face still turned to the wall? Could it have something to do with Marie's brother David and his communist views? The spike from a headless nail pokes out from the doorframe. You hold your thumb against the metal, pressing the point into your skin while closing your eyes. "Hello?" says the voice at the other end in an impatient tone. "Are you there?" "Yes, I am here," you reply.